Chapter 1. Blooming in Pain. The first time Diego Rivera saw Frida Kahlo, she was suspended in midair, a girl of 16, her body broken by a tram accident, her spirit unbroken. He saw her in a photograph, a portrait of defiance, her dark eyes burning through the lens, her lips parted as if she were about to speak a secret. He would later say that in that moment, he fell in love with her not as a man loves a woman, but as an artist loves a masterpiece. Mexico in the 1920s was a country of contradictions, its streets alive with the rhythms of revolution, its walls covered in murals of struggle and hope. Diego was already a titan of the art world, his hands stained with the colors of Mexico's soul. But Frida, she was something else entirely. She was a storm wrapped in silk, a girl who painted her pain onto canvas like it was the only way to survive it. Their first meeting was not a grand romance. It was a collision. Diego was in his 40s, a man of appetites, art, politics, women. Frida was barely out of her teens, her body a battlefield of scars and steel corsets. She wore her pain like a crown, her dresses embroidered with flowers that bloomed over the places where her flesh had been torn apart. When she walked into his studio, she did not ask for permission. She simply stood there, her gaze daring him to look away. And Diego, he could not. He saw the way she moved, slow, deliberate, as if every step was a rebellion against the world that had tried to break her. He saw the way she painted, her brushstrokes raw, her colors unapologetic. She did not paint pretty things. She painted the truth, the blood, the bones, the way love could feel like a knife. Their love story was not gentle. It was a storm of passion and betrayal, of art and politics, of two souls who refused to be tamed. Diego was a man who loved many women, but Frida, she loved only him with a ferocity that bordered on madness. She painted him over and over again, her brush capturing the way his hands moved, the way his laughter filled a room. And Diego, he painted her too, but his Frida was always larger than life, a goddess of suffering and strength. The first time they kissed, it was in the shadow of his murals, the walls around them alive with the faces of Mexico's revolution. Frida tasted of tequila and defiance, her lips pressing against his like she was trying to memorize him. Diego, for all his experience, was a nun. This was not a woman to be possessed. She was a force of nature, and he was just a man trying to keep up. Their marriage was a battlefield. Diego's infidelities were legendary, his affairs as public as his art. Frida responded in kind. She took lovers. She painted her pain. She wore her heart on her sleeve and her corset on her body. But through it all, they never stopped painting each other, because in the end, that was the only language they truly understood. The 1930s were a decade of fire and fury. Mexico was alive with the energy of revolution, and Frida and Diego were at its heart. She wore her traditional Tijuana dresses like armor, her skirts swirling around her like the petals of a flower that refused to wilt. He painted her as La Venedita, the little deer, her body fragile but her spirit unbreakable. And then there was the accident, the one that nearly took her life. The one that left her in a body cast, her spine a shattered landscape. But even then, she painted. She painted herself as the column, her body split in two, her heart exposed. She painted the way pain felt like, a garden blooming in the most unexpected places. Diego was there, of course. He was always there, his hands steadying her brushes when hers could not hold them. He loved her in the way only, a man who had seen the abyss code with a love that was as much about survival as it was about passion. By the 1940s, their love had become a legend. The world saw them as the ultimate artists of their lives, a canvas of love and rebellion. But behind closed doors, it was something else entirely. It was a dance of fire and ice, of two souls who could not live without each other but could not bear to be together. And yet they painted each other again and again, their love story written in strokes of color and shadow. Because in the end, that was all they had, a love that was as beautiful as it was broken, as fierce as it was fragile. And so, the story continues. The next chapter awaits.